Well, just got the news that the Big 12, or no, excuse me, Big 10 has postponed all sports to the spring. At least that means no football. Not a Big 10 fan, but hey, it's going to fuck with the college football season. Thank God the SEC is saying that they want to do, if all else fails, to do a SEC only season. All I'm saying is, with news like this, calls for a drink. Not to celebrate, of course, but just to mellow out. So, of course, beer review time, and we're going to review Paulaner, excuse me if that's a mispronunciation, Paulaner Oktoberfest Marzen. Now, of course, a Marzen is traditionally what they drink at Oktoberfest, although Paulaner, I think the beer they serve at Oktoberfest usually, at least the one in Munich, is their Weizen or wheat beer. But anyway, Marzen is usually a malt forward beer, and Marzen actually means, pour that a little more aggressively. Yeah, not much of a head, although I really poured it mildly. But Marzen it does mean in German, as far as I know, it means March. Well, you're like, what the fuck? This is an Oktoberfest beer. Well, it is brewed in March, and then it is drank in October, or, well, late September. That's when Oktoberfest starts. Yeah, it's a celebration to celebrate the coming of October. I know, it's weird. But anyway, let's take a look at this beer. And actually, before we take a look at it, let's take a look at the bottle here. This is 5.8% alcohol by volume. You know, pretty much about course with most Marzens. You're going to be about, hovering around 5-ish%. And it says here on the back, quality and heritage, brewed with uncompromising standards that strictly adhere to the right. Again, my German isn't good. Reinheitsgebot, which is, I guess, German purity law, or this could be something particular to Bavaria, which is where this beer is made, but I know there is a German purity law when it comes to beer. Anyway, using only 4 ingredients, water, hops, yeast, and malt for nearly 400 years. Brewed and bottled by Paulaner Gruppe Company, Munich, Germany. Yeah, I need to get, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? I need to learn German is what I'm saying. Anyway, the beer, kind of a copper color. It's, it's pretty dark, but you can still see through it. Overall, it's, maybe even say amber. Very beautiful. There wasn't much of a head. I didn't pour it aggressively, but from what there was of a head, it dissipated quite quickly. Let's take a whiff. Oh yeah, sweet bread is what I'm getting for the most part. Actually, the smell reminds me of a little bit, it's going to sound weird for some folks, but Texas Roadhouse, the rolls they have there, it's definitely a sweeter dinner roll. I get that along with, you get a little bit of a grass from the hop and a little bit, or the hops, and a little bit of like a spice, like, like they dropped a little bit of spices in there, although there is no spices. This is just like malt, hops, yeast, water, all that. But I'm getting, like I said, like a hint of spices in there. Flavor-wise, it tastes like it smells, believe it or not. I know, surprising, but yeah, you get the sweetness of like breads. It's bready, biscuity, crackery, whatever you want to call it, with just a balanced out hop character, a little bit of grass, and like I said, a little bit of a spice. Almost, I get like, it's kind of weird, but I get like a hint, and it's very faint, but a hint of like applesauce with a little cinnamon in it. There's a spiciness with it, and also, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm not an expert on Marzens. I researched this beer a little bit, and everyone tends to agree that this is a great display of what a Marzen should be, at least a German Marzen. There are some American companies that make Oktoberfest style beers, and that brings to, there's only one other beer that I've had that is an Oktoberfest, at least up to this point. Excuse me, and that was the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, and I really, really enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and light a Marlboro. But Sam Adams Oktoberfest is one of my more favorite, or more, the beers I can't fucking talk today. I guess my head's up my ass, but it's one of my more favorable beers. And this, I can kind of see and taste things that remind me of the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, but there's definitely some differences. Not as sweet as the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, and from the research I've done, most American Marzens, Oktoberfest style beers made by American companies tend to be a little bit sweeter, whereas more German, I guess you call them true Oktoberfest Marzens, are a little bit more on the hoppy side, a little bit more balanced. This is definitely not a hop forward beer by any means. The hops aren't front and center. You don't get, an amazing hop bite. You don't get a bunch of bitterness, but it is there and it balances it out. So it's not just a stick to your mouth kind of sweetness. And that's the main difference I'm getting from this and the only other Marzen I've had, that Sam Adams Oktoberfest, is this is just a little bit more balanced. Also very drinkable. There's a lot of character, but it's still light on the palate. There's a lot of flavor, but it's not incredibly heavy. I could, sit around and eat some bratwurst and, some mashed potatoes and all that, and which I think that's actually an Irish or a British meal, is, bangers and mash. But I don't like sauerkraut, so I would substitute my sauerkraut for mashed potatoes if I was cooking, at least. But anyway, I could see myself definitely drinking a couple of these before I eat, some while I eat, and a couple after I eat. They're very sessionable, but it's not watery. It's light on the palate, or at least lighter feeling, while still having a lot of character. I know that's kind of counterintuitive, and I've noticed a lot of the things I say in these reviews are kind of oxymorons, but that's one cool thing I like about drinking beer, or just drinking any alcohol, is that your palate decides the way you experience this. I'll watch beer reviews when I try a new beer, and it kind of guides me to, look for certain notes, but I still come up with things of my own. I might, watch Louisiana beer reviews, or Kentucky brew review, or John and Nelly when I'm drinking beer, and I'm like, oh, I see what they're saying there, but then also go, well, I found something else also, and that's just what I like. The taste is, you can be objective, but it's still subjective at the same time. There's, you can look at something and go, that's good, but you still have your own twist and your own opinion on it, and that's why I enjoy doing beer reviews. But yeah, I could definitely throw some of these down. And if you're someone who likes, like Bud Miller Coors, or even Yingling, some Mexican beer, stuff like that, but you want to try different kinds of lagers, something like this is definitely a good way to go. And I know I haven't said the name a lot, but Paulaner, that's what we're going for, Paulaner. They also have a Doppelbock and a Hefeweizen. I was thinking about getting the Doppelbock today, but then I was like, ooh, Oktoberfest. Oh, well, why not? But so far as an introduction to the brand, I'm definitely enjoying this. This is a very, very good beer, and I'm honestly just going to go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10. For someone like me who doesn't care for a lot of hop forward beers, I enjoy this. It's definitely malt forward, but it still maintains a good balance. And overall, it's mild yet intriguing at the same time. I can sit here and sip on it and think about it, or I could watch a baseball game and chug them. It's kind of a multifaceted, multi-tooled beer. If that makes any sense. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. This can be drink it, not think it, or you can think about it. So I'm gonna go ahead 9 out of 10, and also the price isn't bad for the 6-pack of, I think these are like 11 and a half, no, 11.2 fluid ounces. 6-pack was like $9, so it hovers around the $10 region. So, you know, if you just want to pick up a 6-pack and try something a little bit different, you're not going to break the bank by any means. But yeah, 9 out of 10. Like, rate, subscribe if you care to. Make sure to, I'm trying to think of what I normally say, spay and neuter your animals and kill your local pedophile. Have a nice day.